Here we go. We start again about real estate. What is homeowner association? Homeowners association is organizations that actually look after, in a way, it's kind of a neighborhood of living areas, and sometimes they kind of play a really good role. So usually a person who um, is uh, getting in trouble of some kind, financial, if this person starts losing um, money and start missing payments on apartment, so or a house, there's always possibility of foreclosure. But um, it's not right away. See, you have a certain time that you can win. You know. So um, so what to do when you deal with homeowner association? Unfortunately, there's not much, but the homeowners associations, all they need for first, it's a um, thing called fees. Homeowner association fee. You have to make sure that you pay them in your current. I mean, I'm sure it could be 1 month late or something, but I'm not sure every association is from one to another. Differs. So the homeowner associations, this is what they're supposed to do and look good. You still pay them, but supposedly, okay, the um, their behavior and conduct should be separated from the bank. Okay, should be, not always, but should be. What is the deal? As long as you pay the everything within the place you live should running smooth. But the bank and you, it's a different area of dealing. So you can have negotiation with the bank where we're doing a loan and so on, a mortgage. But sometimes it ends up in negative territory, and what happens? Bank would love to foreclose on you, but they do it like within 3 4 months. So you have this specific thing. But what is dangerous in this case? You'll start getting relaxed and say, "Oh, I have 3 4 months," and suddenly one day they come home and they cannot get it. And what happens is, um, for instance, some housing areas are financed by specific bank. Okay, for instance, you have like a high rise, or you have a house uh, like area 5 6 houses. They were financed by a mortgage. Mortgages were financed through a specific bank. For instance, if you go to, um, for instance, in our case years ago, 2005, when we bought the apartment in Atlanta, I would not name the bank, but they had the bank office in the not the basement, in the first floor, next to the concierge and everything, where people were just wanted to look at the apartments. So this is why, because highly likely the contractors that build either a house or a house complex or condominium complex or high rise uh, were hired by the bank. The bank finance them, pay them, and the bank offers easier access to the real estate properties through financing mortgage loans. And so, and if you have a mortgage with the same bank, homeowner association is the one who can actually become your enemy. And simply because homeowner association was brought by the same bank to manage their properties. Practically, the bank owns the property, even though to other people's they get their mortgages, but with the same bank, all the titles are with the bank, and so on and so on. So practically, bank owns the property. The homeowner association is a tool of management that manages banks' properties and interacts with people who have mortgages and so on. So, if gang stalkers will get to the bank and they can force, or even will have to force anything. Practically, homeowner association will start uh, doing small things that will actually cost you money. Um, for instance, you can have specific errors done. For instance, suddenly you can have um, change of date of your payment, or um, direct deposit, or not direct deposit, direct drafts were cancelled, but people who live in apartments, they don't being notified, and so suddenly you realize that you're 2 months behind on your homeowners association fee, and so on and so on. So there's a whole bunch of things that are done, and then one specific moment, uh, you have you're losing access to your home, but you don't just look to the sector home, to anything that is there. Okay, um, so this is for you. It's your home. You can have stuff, like any other house have. You have household items. You have so on, so on, so on, so on, and suddenly you lose access. Sometimes it's really ugly. And if you, as I said, remember, if you're being targeted not just because of the housing, the housing area, but if you're are targeted outside, like employment or financial stripping of some kind, you can be in a deep shit out directly. It's nothing to do. You can say it other way. So you have extra pressure. So practically, it can be a war against you in a way that they can strip one of your biggest assets, which is real estate. So real estate, as I said, then you go through foreclosure. You live somewhere, okay, anyway, somewhere, and what to expect. Usually, you own your house until it's sold on auction. Okay, so until last day before auction, you can repay and get it back if you have the money. Suddenly, win a lottery and repay. But what happens? Your house, your property goes in auction. And for instance, your property, for instance, costs 300,000. But banks, they don't like to have anything to do with the property they represent because it's the hassle. Plus, they take their fees anyway from whatever equity you have. So the trick here is to destroy target individuals' equity completely, and it's how it's done. As I said, remember the bank that owns the building, that owns everything, that owns mortgages of the people that live there, and homeowners association. It's also what you have is your your property goes for auction, and then when it goes to auction, um, a person related to the bank bids for the property on the lowest cost. So, for instance, if your apartment or your house or your condominium costs $300 to $350,000, for instance, he bids for, I'll buy it for 200, and they agree and give it to him. So, what happens next? Whatever you have on your equity, you already lost 99% of it because your equity is between the market price, it's calculated between the market price and whatever you owe on a mortgage loan. So if somebody buys it to really low already, all of this is lost. You're not getting it because auction is then you have this small fracture of money left between the difference between your mortgage loan and whatever the auctioneer bought. You have usually goes for the fee. Practically, it's like turkey buzzards. um, they eat everything away from it, and you don't get shit or get a couple of thousand. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. This is how it works. But uh, this is how target individuals are targeted. The This is the way when targeted individual is being uh, robbed in a way on a very, very high-tech robbery, financial robbery. Good thing, I see. I have a hotel and restaurant management degree, but I work most of my life. I work as accountant, so I have, in a way, kind of a experience. And I have people. Um, I had this when I had my own business, and my own business was uh, herbal pharmacy. I was selling medicinal herbs, and I had people coming to me and simply telling stories. I closed my business was a long time ago, over 7 years ago. But I had this ability. Some people simply love come to me and simply tell stuff. And you can see now when I kind of accumulated more info, it is no coincidences of losing housing and people becoming homeless and so on. So this is what second part for today. Yeah, for tomorrow. I'll post this one for tomorrow, and the first video I posted today, and I will do a third part of real estate and target individuals. Um, I will try to explain the real, um, I would say, things to look for. What happens if you are targeted? And it's kind of there's some things that are gonna come from the distance, and uh, people say suddenly everything dropped on me. There is so much stuff that comes before that. You have to kind of look. I will try to remember all of it, but I'm not sure I will. But my point here is, I will try to see signs that you can see when you deal with your real estate properties that you are in trouble. Um, We went through this once already in Salt Lake City when we were selling one of my mother's houses. She had the whole old house, and the other one is actually I think there's something going on with me now, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to kind of look at it. But my point here is really simple. The I will continue doing this, and as I said, it's going to be one more video. I thought it's going to be only two, but I have more stuff to say. Thank you, and you have a